So welcome to Grumpy Vegan Grandad. I'm making this video today because of a great response from people on my YouTube channel. This is regarding the death of Regan Russell on a few days ago. I think it was Friday, and I'd just like to give everybody a bit more information because these people are actually over there. Some of these people are over there. And it's looking more like it was what can only be described as murder. From the video footage that I've seen, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which isn't graphic, it's before the accident happened, to show you where she was and where the wagon was in turn. And also a bit of footage from Vegan Gains channel, who lives over in Canada, and he's actually done a report from on the scene, so I'm going to show you that as well. So this is the worst possible outcome of this. I mean, in my conversation with Ruth yesterday, we talked about it being an accident because at the time we can only assume that it was a terrible accident. We can't really on a public forum start shouting murder, it was on purpose, because obviously we don't know the facts. All we can do is assume it was a terrible loss of life. So some of the comments I've had on my video with Ruth yesterday, ATAC T, this isn't an isolated event. The majority of slaughterhouse truckers here in Toronto are extremely hostile and have a history of intimidating activists by reversing, accelerating. Now, reversing is a big no-no. I mean, you do not reverse one of these wagons on purpose when people are around you, because you cannot see anybody behind you. That is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't come as a surprise when they're complicit in the murder of millions of innocent beings. Yeah, I get that. They are complicit in it. Find a different job. There's plenty of trucker jobs out there that don't involve animals. I know the people who were there that day and saw firsthand what transpired and have video footage. They confirmed she was 50 feet away in front of the truck. The driver had stopped in the middle of the traffic for people to give water to the pigs. He could see her clearly as day. Once the 2 minutes was up, he quickly accelerated her and hit her intentionally when she was trying to get out of the way. She was dragged for minutes until security guards finally yelled at the trucker to stop. This was premeditated and the driver will be taken to court. I'm just absolutely speechless. The 40-year-old vegan. Hey guys, I appreciate the talk, thank you. We unfortunately have some different information on the events that transpired. There are witnesses that expressed that she was run over. I personally have been there alongside and say she was there so often, such an inspiration to the community and everyone she knew. There wasn't an official rule with the 2 minutes with the slaughterhouse, but there was a somewhat loose rule with security guards. Anita Crank started the Save movement, which has travelled the world. Vigil started in 2014. Then he goes on to about the bell, which it's not quite linked. There's no link with that and what happened. The drivers are well aware of what happens at this location. It's the most controversial location. When I've personally been there, a driver stops or they don't. When they don't, we move out of the way. When they do, they give us 2 minutes and move slowly away. It appears he just hit the gas and kept going and didn't move slowly. So, he's done it on purpose. What sort of person does things like that? What could he gain from it? What did he think was going to happen? I'm absolutely gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked that someone, a human being, who is, he must be lower in intelligence or empathy than the animals in the truck behind him in the trailer. This is murder. This is murder. There's no other way of putting it. He's used his wagon as a murder weapon. That's it. And anything less is an injustice. You see, when people are crossing the road and step in front of a car and they get killed by a car, it's not murder. It's an accident. That's it. If, like I suggested before I knew the facts, if people are stood out of sight and the driver thinks he's clear and drives forward, that's an accident. But this is not an accident. This is a deliberate act. I've got a bit of video here. Don't worry, it's not graphic or anything like that. But
so this trucker just won't come in, so he's forcing us to bear witness in a very, very dangerous place, and he's trying to piss off the other cars. Fucking asshole.
And we've also got this by Vegan Gains, who goes actually onto the site.
So when I first heard this news, over at the Vigil for Regan,
so that's where the truck was
parked originally. This is the area where she was killed. So what happened was there was an animal transport truck right over there, and Regan was standing over here, right in front of this gate. Now, what a lot of activists do is they stand here to block the trucks to give other activists more time to give water to the pigs. And what happened was this truck driver was extremely aggressive, just didn't care about this woman's life, rammed straight into her, and he had an unobstructed view of this woman. There was nothing in the way. There was, I find it hard to believe that this guy didn't notice that this woman was standing right in front of the gate. He came in, hit her right about here, and then her body fell underneath the truck, and she was dragged. And she was dragged over to where you can see that where the road curves. So basically about a good 15, 20 feet at least. And the only reason the truck driver stopped was because the security guards were screaming at him to stop. And the other day when she was killed, you could see a trail of blood here. So it was a pretty brutal, gruesome death. And after Regan was hit, one of the witnesses took a photo of the aftermath, and in this photo you can see a cleanup crew trying to clean up the trail of blood that was left behind. So,
yeah. Senseless, absolutely senseless, pointless incident. The driver could gain nothing from the actions he did. Nothing. What could he gain? I find it absolutely despicable. What do drivers lose? They lose minutes. They lose, even by stopping outside the gates for 5 minutes. There's nothing in that trucker's day that will be disrupted by stopping for 5 minutes. He can stop for 5 minutes at traffic lights. He can stop for... I was stuck in traffic for 2.5 hours my day carried on and I finished what I had to do. There is no reason for any trucker to do anything like this at all. It's absolute cold-blooded murder, and that's all there is to it. But I'd just like to say, on the flip side of this as well, is in the UK, thankfully, we've got a little bit more decorum. But I would again like to just point out to people about these HGVs. Also down the sides of the trailers, be careful where those wheels are, because where those rear wheels are is where the trailer turns on the spot. If a driver turns sharply, the whole thing turns very, very quickly, and you could be under those wheels in seconds without even realizing it. We need to stay safe. We can't defend the animals if we're dead. Do you know what I'm saying? We can't be having accidents. And if there's accidents, then bans come into place and we can't do any more. You know, we've got to be very, very, very careful around these monster trucks. So anyway, thank you for watching. Grumpy Vegan Grandad signing out.